I don't know much about coding. Therefore, having a completely custom site with coding was something that was going to be really challenging for us.
Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the Duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips.
Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 103, and today we're going to talk about ShowIt, our preferred website platform, and why it's our favorite. We'll be diving into all of the things that make it our favorite, from design all the way to SEO. So let's dive in. The first reason that ShowIt is our favorite is the limitless design ability. There is no coding necessary, making your site completely customizable. From a designer perspective, this is something that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite things about ShowIt, and it's one of the reasons that we chose ShowIt for our platform, for our website. I don't know much about coding. Therefore, having a completely custom site with coding was something that was going to be really challenging for us. If that was the direction that we went, I would have had to definitely take more classes. I did have coding classes in college for a while, but it was definitely over my head and something that wasn't quite appealing to me. So website design was a little challenging to think about back then because I wasn't able to take on all of that with everything else that I wanted to do from a design perspective. So when Abby and I started Duo, ShowIt was definitely a no-brainer for us because of the limitless design ability. One of the biggest selling points of ShowIt is their drag and drop capability. This is one of the reasons that you can make your site completely custom, because you can literally put anything anywhere on your site, no restrictions. So think of elements like paragraphs, headings, images, videos, icons, whatever. You drag it where you'd like it to be, and that's where it is. So a lot of other website platforms, they have some drag and drop ability, but not as customizable as ShowIt. Everything in ShowIt is literally drag and drop. Whereas in Squarespace or Wix or other sites like that, sometimes you're able to drag and drop elements, but they're kind of already pre-designed for you, right? So there are sections that you can add to your site, like a contact form or an image or a text section, and you can move it up and down, usually, sometimes side to side, but it is really restricted in kind of the grid that they already have set up for you. So that's where, those restrictions come in with other platforms, but with ShowIt, you can literally put anything anywhere on your website, no restrictions, no set sort of rules and guidelines as far as like a grid goes. It's totally free for you to put anything anywhere. Another custom design option for ShowIt that I am absolutely in love with is the customization of fonts. This is another thing where you run into different issues on different platforms that you can't use your brand fonts the way that you want them to be used. So you can upload all of your brand fonts and use them however you want within your site design and ShowIt. So you might be asking, okay, so why does this matter? Well, with other platforms, you're limited to what the design settings are for things like your heading, your subheading, your paragraphs. You may be able to use your brand fonts on, like, let's say Squarespace or Wix, but they are limited in how you use them. So an example would be if I were to design our site and I'm adding a heading, and then I want to add a subhead, and then I want to add a paragraph for some content in a certain section, I would go and I would add that heading. I would type in whatever I want that to be, and I can set that heading font to whatever font that I want within ShowIt. However, with other websites, you have to determine what font you're going to use for your heading, your subheading, and your paragraphs for your entire website, and that's what you have to stick with. You don't have the flexibility to change those throughout your site however you want. So in ShowIt, you can add your 3 different fonts, and your heading can be one font, your subheading can be another, and your paragraph can be another. And then somewhere else, you can totally switch that up if you want. Let's say you wanted a certain brand font for a heading, but you wanted it to be different than another heading within your website. You can do that. But in other platforms, you're not allowed to do that. So this is where we run into some issues too with SEO sometimes, is that somebody's in, let's say, like Squarespace or Wix, and they have a heading and they have it tied to a certain font, but that font isn't really great for headings. But they're like, but this is the font that I want it to be because it's like really fun and playful. And for us, we're like, well, that doesn't really work because, it's not really a heading font, and it doesn't work in this instance because, let's say, it's a little, like, it maybe is not quite legible, or you need it to be large and it's just not working within that space. You have to change that font for that heading, and it is going to change your entire site. So every time you have a heading, it will always have to be that font, or every time you have a subheading, or every time you have a paragraph, it's always limited to that one font that you set that style for. Whereas in ShowIt, that doesn't matter. You can change your fonts across all of the different headings, subheadings, and paragraphs. So it's really, really flexible as far as your brand fonts goes, which is so nice. I've changed our fonts so many times for headings, subheadings, and all of that from desktop and mobile. And it is just so amazing to have that flexibility and not be restricted within that. Another reason that we love ShowIt, in order to get the platforms to look the way that you want, you'll most likely need to use code. So I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but if you want something super custom, a lot of the times custom equals code. But within ShowIt, that's not the case. Some people don't have time to learn code. Sometimes code is a little robust and it's a bit too much. But within ShowIt, you don't have to use code in order to have completely customization within your site. So that doesn't mean you can't add code to your ShowIt site. It just means that it's not necessary. If you look at our newly branded website, you'll see that on some of our pages, we have logos that are spinning or icons that are kind of dancing, and we're just adding some fun visual movement to our site. That was done with a little bit of code. So know that I know nothing about code, or very, very little. I shouldn't say nothing, but it's very, very minute. So in order to get these fun elements on our site, I use some code from our friends over at Northfolk, who give clear steps on how to add those fun elements like this to your site with a tiny bit of code. And the great thing is that they already did all of it for you. So I think I signed up for a freebie, got popped into their email sequence, which is great because they have amazing stuff. And then they popped over the code, so I was able to copy that code. They gave really clear instructions on how to add that to your website, and then they have little YouTube video tutorials too. It is so easy. I started using those little bits of code so much that I kind of got used to what I needed to copy and paste, and it was just, it wasn't a huge learning curve. It was really great, especially since they did a lot of the work for you. So thank you to them. We will also be sure to link that in our show notes. So if you wanted to have some fun with little coded elements, you could definitely do that. Also, just check out some of our pages on our site. I believe our homepage has a submark that's doing a little spin. So those things that you see on our website that are moving, and in our footer, our logo spins a little bit. Those are all just a tiny bit of code that I got from Northfolk, where I didn't really have to think too much, and I was able to add some of that really fun visual interest to our website. Another thing that we love about ShowIt is you can design a custom mobile site just as you do the desktop version. So they can look completely different, which obviously is not something that we would suggest, but they can look different because you can edit your mobile site and your desktop site to be different. You don't have to worry about the restriction of your desktop tying to your mobile. Also, seeing as Google is conducting mobile first indexing lately, which means Google is only crawling mobile, it's definitely important to be able to design a custom mobile site first. So we're always thinking mobile first, basically for SEO and for our design. So that's really awesome that ShowIt allows you to design your custom mobile site different from your desktop if you needed to do so. Not relying on that desktop layout is so huge for mobile, because in a lot of other platforms, anything you manipulate on your desktop is going to manipulate on your mobile, and you don't have the opportunity to change your mobile. It's just connected to your desktop. So whatever you do there, it's going to happen to your mobile, which is really unfortunate when it comes to thinking about mobile first, because you really want to make sure that your mobile site, especially for SEO now, is really, really strong and it's performing well and the page speed is good. So having that flexibility to really work with and customize your mobile site is super important. Now, with that being said, you can still sync your settings between mobile and desktop with a new feature that ShowIt has just rolled out. This feature is merge using mobile or split mobile and desktop. So you can edit design elements within your mobile and desktop site settings at the same time, or you can split them to edit both independently to quickly and easily customize your site. So it's just something that you toggle off and on in ShowIt to either have them be connected or have them be separate. So if I want them connected and I'm changing a headline or a color on my desktop version, it's going to do that same thing and mirror that on mobile. But if I don't want it to mirror on mobile, I uncheck that. So it's just doing mobile. It's splitting mobile and desktop. So I can do something on desktop and it won't do it to mobile. So I can completely customize mobile separate from desktop. So that's a really awesome thing that they just rolled out. So you can either have it synced or you can unsync it. Next, because you are in control, you always have the opportunity to have spot on branding. This is super, super important when it comes to our website, because we know we talk about having consistent branding. Your website is a spot where people are going to land. They're going to want to learn more. So having that on-spot branding is super, super crucial. And because you have all of that control right at your fingertips within ShowIt, it's super easy to make your brand shine within your website just the way that you want it to. So there's a place in ShowIt that's your design settings, and this is where you can set site styles. So this is like your color palette, your type styles, your global styles. Global styles meaning that if you want it to be something that is on your site globally, continually, you just set those global styles and it will be like that throughout the entire site. Anytime you start something new, it'll always use that style. But you're able to set your color palette and have that in there, so it's really easy to add your color wherever you want in your site, whether that be an image or an icon or any of your fonts. You can set that color to whatever you want. And then type styles, you can set your type styles in these design settings. So you can say, I want my heading style to be this font and I want my subheading to be this font. So it will always carry that through. However, if you are in your site and you're designing a headline and it puts in that type style that it's tied to, you can still change it. And it's not going to wreck your type styles or anything, but it just, again, allows you that freedom to change your fonts however you want, whenever you need to. This is where you upload your brand fonts, is in this design settings section. And then this is where you can also do like link color. So if somebody clicks on a link or you want a link to be a different color in your site, this is where you can change or update that. They have different hover colors. It's just a really great section to set design settings that you want for the majority of your site, but also knowing that when you get into your site, you can change these with the toolbar that you have on the right-hand side to be whatever you want. So the design settings and the site styles are really just kind of a overall, this is what I want my site to do when I add these elements, but you always have the flexibility to change them when you're designing your site. Then we've got the media library. This is where all of your branding assets can be uploaded, all of your photography. It's really, really nice, and I love how organized and nice it looks. It's very pleasing to somebody who likes to keep things organized, and very pleasing for a designer myself, where I can go and I have all of these folders that keep things nice and organized, and I know that when I want to add something to my site, I just go to that media library, I look for the folder. Let's say it's our branding assets or it's photo shoots of Abby and I have all of those folders in there, so I know exactly where to go, and then I can add those photos or those assets to our website. Also, another little SEO tip for you. Don't forget to optimize your images by using a program like Tiny JPEG or Compressed JPEG so that your images aren't too large, which could cause that slow page speed, which is not ideal for SEO. Another thing within ShowIt that is amazing is that you can change your colors throughout your entire website, your background colors, your icon colors, just by using any of your brand colors. You have those put into your design styles and settings. You can change those colors throughout your website wherever you want. Adding logos and submarks wherever is playful touches throughout. This is such a fun thing within ShowIt that you can do that is not really allowed in other sites. And just again, that drag and drop feature. You can add a logo, drag and drop it over an image, place it next to text, have it floating somewhere where you want it. That's really playful. And then again, just adding those tiny bits of code to make it do something fun like spin or kind of dance or wiggle. And then images, shapes, icons, any of these things you can add to your site. You can drag them anywhere, you can drop them anywhere, you can change the color. It's really just super fun to play with all of these different elements and know that you have the freedom to put them wherever you want. Another reason that we love ShowIt that is completely separate from the design aspect or the SEO aspect is their supportive community. Their customer service is literally top notch, which is so crucial for something like your website. We have had such good experience with their ShowIt supportive community. When it comes to their live chat, they're always available and the wait time is never that long. Also, they send the occasional GIF, and if you know a thing or two about Abby and I, we love ourselves some good GIFs. So if you ever want to, pop into our DMs or Instagram or whatever and send us GIFs, we're always down for that. But their customer service is always doing that, which is so fun. And they're just so nice and so helpful and so quick. We have never had an issue with getting questions answered with ShowIt and their live chat or anybody on the ShowIt team. They also have so many tutorials and helpful humans outside of ShowIt. It's just like a giant ShowIt community. They actually call themselves the ShowIteers on Facebook. So whether you want to add an interactive quiz, embed an email opt-in, have a question about something, or need tips and tricks, all you have to do is ask their customer service or pop over to their Facebook page, ShowIt user group. This is something that we'll also link in the in the podcast show notes, but they are great over there on the Facebook page as well. So all of those ShowIteers, they show up there, they have questions, they send, tips and tricks. If you have a question about how to, add an interactive quiz or embed an email opt-in, or just any question about anything within your ShowIt website, if you pop over to there, somebody is sure to have the answer and you will get a ton of hits in the comment section of your question and they will be able to help you out, no problem. So it is really such a very supportive community and everybody in the ShowIt space is just so dang nice. It's really fun to be a part of that community. Also, I would not be doing us justice if I didn't touch on SEO for a minute. ShowIt is great for SEO. It has all the features necessary for SEO, and you can easily update meta descriptions, page titles, and all of those fun things. Plus, ShowIt integrates with WordPress for your blog, which means you can use the plugins like Yoast to make sure that your blog SEO is always on point. Abby will be very proud that I snuck that little SEO tidbit in here for you. I want to talk about some commonly asked questions too. So a lot of people go to ShowIt and you can see that, or it used to be more so now than it was before, but you would see a lot of photographer templates. And I think a lot of people would get hung up on the fact that is it just for photographers? And it is not at all. We are actually currently working on 3 custom ShowIt websites for our clients right now. One is in the podcast industry, the other the commercial real estate industry, and then the other is all about natural products and living a toxin-free life. So those are 3 completely different industries other than photographers. So ShowIt is really trying to expand on being a platform that is not just for photographers. For a while, that's all that they kind of marketed to, and it was really, really big for photographers, but now it's really tapping into other industries. We've used ShowIt from day one, and we're a service-based industry, so it's really, really nice for industries like that, and again, not just limited to photographers. So just think about that. Go to the ShowIt's website. They have a ton of templates and they can show you templates that, there's some that are geared towards photographers, but there's also that some that are geared towards other industries as well. So always just take a peek at that, but just know that it is definitely not just for photographers, and any industry really could be somebody that's hosted on ShowIt. Another question that we hear a lot is where to buy templates. So sometimes starting with a template is worth it because building a custom site from scratch can be, well, kind of daunting and a lot of work. Also, I think a lot of people get really excited about custom, 100% custom, but it can also be really scary because if you just start with a blank slate, it's like, holy shit, where do I start? And like, how do I even do this? So that's where templates are really, really awesome. They give you a place to start. But again, with that drag and drop capability of ShowIt, you can literally change a template to be whatever you want it to be. You can take the idea of the template and the essence of the template and really make it your own over the course of time. And then it's not even really a template anymore because you completely customized it. Tonic has really beautiful templates to get you started. And if eventually, again, you want to make it more custom, you absolutely can. This is where we started. We started with a Tonic template. I believe it was paper plain, and we loved it and we used it for a while. And we are still using it essentially. However, we've grown so much and we've changed so much and we've learned ShowIt to a level where we can completely customize it. So it doesn't look necessarily like a template anymore. We've made it and we've evolved it to be more of a custom site within ShowIt. ShowIt also has some free templates. If you take a peek at their site, you're able to look at those free templates. Let's say if you're on a budget right now and you can't afford to buy, a 100 plus, I mean, they go from 100 to, I don't know, can be thousands of dollars, these templates. But if you want to just start with a free template, you definitely can. ShowIt has some for you. So that's a really great place to start if you're looking to go to ShowIt, or if you're looking to start with ShowIt and you just need something free to get yourself started. So for us, ShowIt is hands down one of our favorites simply because you just cannot beat the level of customization. You can't compete with it. It's amazing. It's really easy to use once you get into it and start learning the tools. I will say it takes a little while to learn it, and sometimes that's people's frustration. However, if you take the time to sit and dedicate and get to know it, it becomes so easy and so user-friendly and awesome to update that it really is worth it, especially with the level of customization that you can get to as your site continues to grow. So if you're looking for a platform where you can have complete freedom to design your site exactly how you want while also being able to easily update and manage your site design long-term, ShowIt is your answer. And because Abby isn't here, I just wanted to remind you that it is great for SEO too. Don't worry, Abby, I got you. So if you're considering a move to ShowIt or have recently moved over to ShowIt, we hope that this episode was helpful, and we will be sure to include all of the links of things that we mentioned in here in our show notes so you can take a peek, so you can kind of start diving in and looking at all of the greatness that ShowIt has to offer. Thank you for listening to another episode of Duo on Air. If you liked this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please leave us a review and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.